Ladies and gentlemen, the speaker joined the Utama Toastmasters Club in September 2005. He has served as an active member, mentor, club secretary, club-wide president membership, area governor, and is currently Division B Assistant Governor of Marketing. And he contributes his growth in Toastmasters to the generous, kind and helpful members of the Utama Toastmasters Club. The speaker today is presenting project number 2, and he observed that the club goes through a cycle of ups and downs, and this evening wishes to make a proposal to the club and EXCO to consider to stabilize and strengthen the club. Let's put our hands together to welcome Distinguished Toastmaster Johnson Lee with the speech title On the Right Tracks. On the Right Tracks, Distinguished Toastmaster Johnson Lee.
Thank you, Toastmaster. Good evening, Nancy. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen.
Good evening.
Today, I wish to share with you an idea which you would like to consider to bring back to your EXCO and also for you to support. Being on the right track. Now, in the Toastmasters movement, how many tracks are there? Two. That's right. What are they? Communication and leadership. That's right. Now, today, I'll be focusing on those aspects, but at a different angle of outlook. Now, the thing about the outline we'll be covering today is the proposal, the objective of the proposal, the suggested approach if adopted, and we also will have question and answer session. So if you do have questions, you are most welcome to ask them during this respective session. Now, in a typical Toastmasters meeting, we have 3 sessions. We have the impromptu session, we have the prepared speech session, and as well as the evaluation session. Now, this particular 3-part system has always served us well, and most of us, if not all, have benefited from it. But over the years, for the Utama specifically, I noticed a particular trend that often robs us of the experience and wisdom of our seasoned members. So this proposal is to help us to stabilize that motion. And the proposal, ladies and gentlemen, is to introduce an education session once a month. That is to introduce an education session once a month. Now, what would this education session be about? The objective of the education session is to provide a strong foundation to our new members. The Utama Toastmasters Club has always been privileged to be able to attract a lot of new members year in, year out. And this year alone, ladies and gentlemen, based on my 5 years in the Utama, it has reached one of the highest number of new members today. Can you roughly guess how many are there?
12.
12? Yes? Another guess? 6. How about from the EXCO? 16. Very close. And the winner is 17 members, ladies and gentlemen. The Utama Toastmasters Club this term has recruited 17 members. Let's give all of us a round of applause. We have a very effective system in the Utama. We have the mentor-mentee system. But very often, from what I observe, sometimes the mentees can be shy, and sometimes the mentors can be occupied. So what we have, ladies and gentlemen, for the purpose of this idea of introducing the education session is to strengthen that foundation. But this particular proposal is not just only for the new members. For the senior members, what the idea would propose is to reinforce the right values, the techniques, and the skills. Once again, it's for the seasoned members to reinforce the right values, the techniques and the skills. We have also, besides able to attract new members, Di Utama has a very rich history. And in this room, we also have one of the longest active member in the club. Can anybody guess who is that, ladies and gentlemen? Now, ladies and gentlemen, this gentleman, based on Di Utama's records, have joined the club as long as since July 1998. And while G. Jayam was close, the gentleman is actually Gan Tiao Hock, Advanced Communicator. The absence period you overlook. Followed by Gan is actually Distinguished Toastmaster G. Jayam, who joined in April 1999, and followed by that, Ipua Pang, Advanced Communicator Silver, Advanced Leader Silver. These are two of Di Utama's oldest and active members. So what we have, ladies and gentlemen, is for this particular part, Toastmasters is not a static program. We also introduce new manuals and new ideas to improve ourselves. So for that, the materials that, if you adopt this idea of introducing the education session, would be from the Better Speaker series. As a new member, you receive two manuals, namely the Competent Communicator Manual and the Advanced Leader Manual. But ladies and gentlemen, Toastmasters is truly rich with resources. And the Better Speaker series are actually 10 additional manuals at a very reasonable cost, which most clubs do not have the luxury of knowing and buying them. But Di Utama do have them. So these particular programs that covers 10 to 15 minutes give practical tips on how a speaker can be honed. It covers topics such as creating an introduction, organizing your speech, creating a conclusion, fighting your fears, and even knowing your audience. So these manuals will definitely help the respective members, whether it is presented by a senior member or a junior member. It also helps for the senior members to achieve the Advanced Communicator Silver. The Advanced Communicator Silver is when you have your Advanced Communicator Bronze, finish 10 additional advanced features, followed by 2 presentations from this particular series. But as I mentioned earlier, the Toastmasters journey is not just about communication. We also have leadership. So we also have another 10 manuals from the Excellence Series project. Now this particular manuals, ladies and gentlemen, as in this particular track, leadership, provides the skills to the potential leader to be successful not only inside the club, but outside the club as well. So it would have manuals that covers talking about delegation, visionary leader, talking about how to set missions and goals. So these manuals similarly would need only 10 to 15 minutes of a presentation time. And it will also help the seniors in their Advanced Leader Bronze. The Advanced Leader Bronze, ladies and gentlemen, is the next step for competent leaders to attain. But the club is only as strong as its members. And one of the benefits that helps us, Di Utamans, to attract members is the Successful Club series. The Successful Club series has an additional 1 manual compared to the other 2. It's 11. And it addresses the quality of club meetings. To the new members, when you first came to Di Utama, we asked your feedback, and you often share with us. It's about the warmth of the club. It's about the role plays that has been demonstrated, the professionalism about these roles. Those are covered, ladies and gentlemen, in the Successful Club series. And this particular year, I mentioned we have 17 new members. We started up with 50 58 members. That's our base. So how many members do you think we have now in total? 67. That is truly unfair. For most likely, you have seen the vision report. But it is, ladies and gentlemen, 67 new members. And that has made D Utama the biggest club in District 51. And that's But while we can be glad about those numbers, 67, 58 plus 17 doesn't add to 67. So that's why, ladies and gentlemen, it's important for us to also focus on maintaining our memberships. And these particular manuals will also take to help in the Advanced Communication Silver and Advanced Leader Bronze. Now, who can deliver this? Any Toastmasters in good standing who has completed a competent leader or perhaps an EXCO member. Why do we propose this? Why do I propose this? It's at least to let them know that it's the next progression for them. And it will also help us in the last minute pull-ups. The manuals are ready, ladies and gentlemen. They are available in our club cabinet. If, for example, if any time a speaker pull out from a speaking slot, pull out those manuals and then deliver them. And what I suggest is second meeting of every month. With that, ladies and gentlemen, we can help to achieve the mission of the club. That is, for Toastmasters Club, is to provide a mutually supportive and positive learning environment, giving the opportunities to all to learn leadership and communication. Thank you very much. We can move on to the question and answers. We have 2 to 4 minutes. The floor is open, ladies and gentlemen. Nancy?
In view of our club meeting, we know that most of the time the queue of speaking slot is very long, right? And this particular assignment will take 15 minutes. So we already have limited space to speak, and yet we want to introduce such a longer assignment. Is there any better alternative for this, or would you propose another speaking slot, or would it be a second or third or fourth speaker nights?
Thank you, Nancy, for that question. Now, we often have speakers night on the 3rd meeting of every month. The suggestion here, ladies and gentlemen, does not really take too much time because, number one, it only takes about, an average, 7 to 10 minutes. 10 to 15 is the longest possible. And if you do a 7 to 10 minutes presentation, this type of presentation does not really need evaluation. Now, in respect to the long waiting queue, that might be true if it was maybe 6 months ago. But the past 3 meetings, or even the past 2 months, I noticed people have been pulling out. So this is one contingency we can have to supplement the learning opportunity. And for the new members, the mentors have always been encouraged to share with the mentees to speak outside the club. So in terms of speaking slot, whether it's in or outside the club, there's always ample slots. It's whether we know where to go for them.
Just to clarify your proposal, are you suggesting that the education session to be fixed, or are you suggesting that it to be just standby? Because
first and foremost, I believe due to the number of 17 new members we have, it would be a good idea for them to be fixed first. Namely because if they don't have the opportunity to speak, they won't have the opportunity to experiment. But at least if you impart information, it might even help them to prepare their speeches. If we find that we have a lot of eager and committed speakers, then we can make them as a backup plan for those in the events of pull-up. For example, Nancy was very apt to have the next speaker, the 4th speaker for this evening to be standby. But we have seen in the last meeting during our speakers line, where not only 1 missed out, but 2 were missing from that. So it not only robbed them of their opportunity to stand here to speak, but it robbed the rest to learn from as well. So it can start off as a fixed session, moving on to maybe something on the standby. That can be reassessed on time-to-time basis. I'd like to say one more question. Stephen?
Yeah, I mean, currently we already have speaking slots. Right? That doesn't even help, because these slots are given to anybody. What's the difference between that slot available for the senior to do the same thing versus having a fixed slot in the agenda? We still come back to having a slot there. Right now, the slot is not even taken by any senior members who do their series there.
Correct.
So what's the difference?
The difference here is that when you are preparing this particular presentation, you don't have to prepare for your speeches. If you're ready to present, you just have to take out those materials and present it as is. You don't have to have much thought in it. The presentation of information in a structured format will help the newer members to learn, whereas to help reinforce the senior members' values, as what I was earlier mentioned. So at least in that, preparation time will be less, and you'll be ready by just having the materials in hand from the respective club. I see that the timing is insufficient at this point in time, so I will be able to perhaps provide more information on a later one-to-one basis. But in the meantime, ladies and gentlemen, I believe this particular proposal will help not only in stabilizing the club, but help to retain our senior members and strengthen our younger members as well. Thank you very much.
To evaluate Johnson, right?
Thank you, Madam Deputy Evaluator. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen.
Good evening.
I'd like to share my opinion as Johnson attempts this assignment. So he wants to make a proposal to us. He wants to propose a course of actions. I'm going to assess him on 4 aspects. One is, how clearly did he sell the proposition to us? How did he convince us? And how did he use the PowerPoint? I must commend you on your PowerPoints. Your PowerPoints were excellent today. I think the color scheme was very nicely done. It was very nicely done. It supported you without overwhelming. A job well done. The slides were excellent. Now, as far as your proposition was concerned, I thought the topic selection was apt. You brought something to Dutama. How can Dutama address the problem of wasted slots and improve the membership at the same time? Your proposition was that we should have additional education session to be set as backups. Now, in this part, the whole thing went through very well, but this is the part I think to be strengthened. You are asked to use the inverted pyramid. In an inverted pyramid approach, it's like the newspaper. You tell us what it's all about, and then you develop it. In this case, I thought it's a bit draggy. You are trying to say that you should have educational programs, and then it's not stated in one sentence succinctly. You have told us, let's have educational sessions where experienced speakers will do the better speaker series or the better club series, and then we'll develop them. Then you could have brought a framework for the whole idea. We were talking about members doing impromptu speech, members are doing the table topics. It was like giving an overview, but it's not related. I was wondering where you're coming to. So if you summarize everything in one sentence like a newspaper does, and then all of us are waiting to see where you lead that. Now, in conjunction with that, so that we would have made it clearer for us to know what to expect from you. The second part is the convincing us. I thought you spent too much time on talking about the better speaker series, what's the better speaker series, what is the better club series. It is not the appropriate platform. If you're doing an educational workshop, yes. But in this case, you want us to adopt a course of actions, just tell us the better speaker series and focus more on the implications and the consequences and the implementation. What will happen if you do this, like instead of bringing up the issue? Then how are you going to implement it? That would have been more apt in this particular scenario because you're trying to convince us of a particular course of actions. Yes, it is good to talk about the better speaker series, but in this case, it takes away your time because that's not your focus. You're not educating us about the better speaker series. You want us to adopt a course of action, and in this case, it is not necessarily unnecessary background. I felt it would be more focused if you focus on developing your argument and telling us why we should do it. That should be your focus. But nevertheless, overall impression is a job well done because the topic of the speech, your speech today, was apt for the whole audience. Even guests could understand what's happening. 2 clubs, people come, people go. Delivered it well, smoothly with a clear conclusion. And I must also commend you. You handled the questions very smoothly and without condescending. A job well done. I must congratulate you, Johnson. A job well done. And over to you.